What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to give you guys a very quick update about SPY, Tesla, and the overall market. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link that's down below, or use my QR code right over here to sign up. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100, you're going to get $20 of free Nvda stock. If you deposit $2,000 or more, you're going to get $50 worth of Nvda plus a $100 cash reward. Deposits $10,000 or more to get $300 worth of Nvda plus $100, or deposits $50,000 or more to get $1,000 of free Nvda stock plus $100. You're also going to qualify for an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. The offer ends very soon, so please use my link down below to sign up. Anyways, as far as the market's going, we were looking a little bit more bullish on SPY as we're trying to push higher. But I am a little bit concerned about one thing. We're trying to bounce here. I do think we try to go a little higher green in the pre-markets. But the question is, can we take out the all-time highs and pump more? Or do we push to this like 673 zone and kind of like reject again? Because every time we're touching 673 to 674, we like to reject. But as we dip towards like 670, we like to bounce. So do we kind of like push a little higher, turn back down and trade kind of sideways? We might be looking for something like that. But it also depends on some data. Today's Friday, October 10th. At 10 o'clock a.m., we have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Reports, the 5-year inflationary expectations report, and some data coming out that could cause some volatility. That's 10 a.m. and 30 minutes after the stock market opens, so keep that in mind. Some more news. There's been some news that, in China, the Commerce Ministry has announced that they want to have stricter restrictions on the process of mining rare earth materials, processing them, and such. There's going to be more regulation coming out. But for companies like Tesla, Dan Ives, who is from Wedbush, is saying that because Tesla is a big EV company and because they have a big presence in China, they should have a big advantage in sourcing these materials and magnets, and they're going to be completely fine. So that is, something that's very reassuring. Despite that, there's not really much for earnings today, but next week things do get serious with big bank earnings. And then I'm not seeing anything else that's too significant on the news. We had the Senate attempts to pass a bill, but they failed. Again, I think this is the 7th time they failed, and this is taking us to like the 9th day of the government shutdown, unfortunately. So that's what I'm seeing, at least thus far. So for now, the government shutdown continues, but the Michigan Consumer Sentiment data will still be coming out at 10 a.m. And besides that, when it comes to the overall options chain, we have about 272,000 plus of these calls expiring, and we have about 705,000 plus of these puts expiring. We have a 2.59 puts to call option ratio, and 670s are max pain. So what do I think about the markets? Which way is SPY going to be going? What is my personal opinion about this? In my opinion, I think that the market's going to try to go a little bit higher, but the move may not last forever because of what we're seeing on the charts. I want to give you guys like a very important warning about that. So when we look at SPY, for example, we're going to start off by looking at SPY. What you'll see is that we have a tendency of trying to push as we dip towards 670. We like to bounce over and over again. And we touched 670 yesterday. We started to bounce a bit, so we might try to go a little bit higher. But the thing is, every time we're hitting the 673 to 674 zone, we do like to reject. So if we do push up here, will we get another rejection, kind of turn back down and kind of bounce again? We're just trading sideways for now. To be bullish, you want to see SPY basically break the all-time high and hold above it this time. Not get a big rejection, but hold above 674 and continue to push. To be bearish, you want to see us fail at 670. If that fails, we could be dipping to like 668. As of right now, when you zoom in, go to the 30 minutes time frame, I would argue that SPY looks a little bit more bullish, forming a cup and handle, and we could be favoring basically an attempt for 673 to 674 if we go a bit higher. Watch and see if 672 holds. If it does, we're going a bit higher. Then we're going to see if we end up getting a rejection or not. But overall, there is some upside potential for 673 to 674, and we'll see what happens after that. So I think the chart favors upside, but be careful because every time we're touching 673 to 674, we do like to reject. So be very mindful of that. On the triple Q, we look bullish. We also have kind of like a cup and handle. If we hypothetically lose 610, we could be dipping to like 608. But as long as we're above that, we could be favoring an attempt for the gap fill back into like the 612s. We'll see if we break past it or if we get some kind of rejection, but there's a good chance we do go a little higher for 612, and we'll see if we turn back down or not. For the IWM, if we end up losing 245.15, we could be dumping back down to 244. If we break 246, we're looking for a big bounce. We're going back and forth between supply and demand, and then we're going to see if we bounce to 246 like this before potentially going higher. So watch this very carefully as we have an inverse head and shoulders, and we'll see how it goes from there. On ES, we also have a nice looking accumulation. If we end up losing 67.80, we're looking for a dip back down, but as long as we can break a 6,800, we're looking bullish. This is favoring upside. As we dip, we're getting kind of like bought back up, and we have potential to go a bit higher, but then we're going to see if we reject or not later on, so be careful. NQ, if we lose 25,250, we're looking for a dump. If we break 25,341, we're looking bullish. This is favoring a test of 25,341 or above, then we'll see if it turns or not off that area. For other tickers out there, we also happen to have Bitcoin, which is favoring 122,000 or above. Tesla is also kind of like consolidating with an inverse head and shoulders. We could try to pop for essentially 440, then we're going to see if we get some kind of rejection on Tesla or not. If we break 440, we're bullish, but if we lose 435, we could turn back down to 430. I think we might touch 440, then we'll see if Tesla rejects, so be very careful. Nvda is starting to slow down a little bit. We are once again gapping up. I want to see us hold 194 to continue to be bullish. If we don't, we could be dipping back down towards 193. And then Appl, I want to see us basically hold 253.8 today. If we do, we could be looking for a bounce to 255. But if we don't, we could be dipping to 252 or below. So hopefully we get some kind of bounce. Palantir looks more bullish. We're once again going to be favoring 188, and we'll see how it goes. For AMD, we could be dipping back down to 230 and 225, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Coinbase is bullish. As long as we don't lose 380, we're going to be favoring 390 or so. So it looks bullish. Amazon could be retesting 225, and we'll see if we bounce. Meta could be retesting basically 731, and then we could be rebounding back up towards that 739 area. Might see a small dip first. Google looks a bit more bullish. It's slowly uptrending for essentially 244. And Google could be trying to push back up for 525, so we'll see how it goes. The VIX, we're going to see if we get a rejection off this double top or not. For now, the market does look a little bit more bullish, but I do want to warn you guys to be kind of careful, because even if we push like another point, a point and a half on SPY, every time we're touching 673 to 674, we do reject. So maybe we go a little higher, reject again, just kind of trade sideways for now. Then we're going to see if the market pivots later on or if it just keeps going. We have to break the all-time high to continue to be bullish, or if we lose 670, we'll turn back down. I think we pop a little bit when we open. We're going to try to push a bit higher temporarily, and then we'll see if the market rejects. We do have some data at 10 o'clock a.m., so be ready, guys. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Please watch your levels, and peace out.